Hello students, good morning. Again we are continuing with our poem, The Love Song of J. Alfred Profrock, written by T.S. Eliot, a very characteristic and representative poem of the modern world. So far we have read that the protagonist of the poem, he is again and again gives us excuses or kind of reasons to avoid that act of proposing to his beloved. He again and again gives one or another excuse to avoid that encounter with his beloved. Now let's go ahead. And would it have been worth it after all? After the cups, the marmalade, the tea, among the porcelain, among some talk of you and me, would it have been worthwhile to have bitten off the matter with a smile, to have squeezed the universe into a bowl, to roll it towards some overwhelming question, to say, I am Lazarus, come from the dead, come back to tell you all, I shall tell you all. If one, settling a pillow by her head, should say, this is not what I meant at all, this is not it at all. Now, in the earlier stanza, we have read that he says that, okay, this is how I will start. I will start by telling about the lonely people, then I will tell her after the tea, and then but even he says that I feel that as if I am going to die. Means this is a question of life and death to me. This is what he says. And he said, okay, even if then I say it, even if I would take the risk of my life, would it have been worth it after all? This is what he asks the question to himself, that even if I take the risk of my life, even I put my life at stake for the sake of this proposal, just to ask that lady about her love, still, will it be worthy of it? Of so many risks, of so many dangers, of so many hurdles which I have been seeing? After the cups, the marmalade, the tea, means he's talking about all these eateries which they have eaten. Among the porcelain, among some talk of you and me, would it have been worthwhile to have bitten off the matter with a smile? He says, even after these snacks, even after the teas, even after those porcelain cups and all those small talks between you and me, would it be worthy to bring the question like that to you? To have bitten off the matter with a smile? Should I say that word to you? To have squeezed the universe into a bowl. Again, he is comparing that trivial question of his with such a big task. He says, for me, it is like squeezing the whole universe into a small bowl and then roll it towards you. Some overwhelming question. That question is so big a question for me, as if asking that question to you is like squeezing the universe into a small bowl and then rolling it towards you. To say, I am Lazarus, come back from the dead, come back to tell you all. Again, this Lazarus is an allusion to the biblical character in which he is a beggar who is who has told these things to Jesus Christ in New Testament. So he says, I am Lazarus, come from the dead, means come from the heaven or hell, and come back to tell you all. I shall tell you all. Means he says, even if I take this risk of being dead and then returning back and then telling her that, okay, I have come from that place and I am telling you all. If one, then the reaction of that lady, he is saying, settling a pillow by her head, even if she says that this is not what I meant at all, this is not it at all, means the soft and very modest kind of denial by the lady. He says, okay, you are saying it's okay, but I have never meant like that. The way I behaved was though good towards you, but you have misunderstood it. I don't love you. This is what he says, that even if she gives a very soft denial to me, then what would happen then? He says, I am taking the risk of my life. Okay, even if I die for the sake of this proposal, then if that lady says that this is not what I meant at all, this is not it at all, then means see, if she denies that proposal with a very soft dismissal, and would it have been worth it after all? Would it have been worthwhile after the sunsets and the dooryards and the sprinkled streets, after the novels, after the teacups, after the skirts that trail along the floor, and this and so much more? Again, means he is talking about just useless things, sunsets and the closed dooryard and those sprinkled streets and novels which we read, the teacups which we drink, after the skirts that trail along the floor, and this and for much more. Means he is talking about very trivial things, these useless things. He is talking about streets, teacups, novels, and those ruffling skirts on the streets. It is impossible to say just what I mean. And he says, because the girl says that this is not what I meant at all. So he says, it is impossible to say just what I mean. But as if a magical lantern through the nerves in pattern on a screen, would it have been worthwhile? He says, okay, it is impossible for me. I am afraid to say what I mean. But he says, if there is some lamplight which is having some magical powers and which might illuminate my nerves, my inner thoughts on a screen there in front of my beloved on the wall, even then would it have been worthwhile? Means he said, okay, I am afraid to say, but even if my feelings are being shown to her by some other way, even then is it worthwhile? If one settling a pillow or throwing off a shawl and turning towards the window should say, this is not it, hell, this is not what I meant at all. Again he says, even if I bring such a magical lantern, if I bring such a magical lamp and engrave those feelings on a wall and show it to her, even then would it be worthful? Would it be worthy to be done such a big effort if she says that this is not at all what I mean at all? Means again and again he has that fear of denial, that soft denial by the lady that no, I don't love you. No, I am not Prince Hamlet, nor was meant to be. I am an attendant lord, one that will do to swell progress, start a scene or two, advise the prince, no doubt an easy tool, deferential, glad to be of use, politic, cautious, and meticulous, full of high sentence but a bit obtuse, at times indeed almost ridiculous, almost at times the fool. So he says, no, I am not Prince Hamlet. Now this Prince Hamlet, there was an allusion in Shakespeare's Hamlet that he was quite indecisive to be or not to be. It was a famous phrase, if you might have heard it. So he says, I am not Prince Hamlet, that I am so much in indecision mode. Nor was meant to be, nor I am meant to be Prince Hamlet, but I am an attendant lord. Attendant, or he is talking about here is the allusion to Polonius, who was a courtier to the king Claudius. So he says, I am an attendant lord, one who will do to swell a progress, start a scene or two, means who will do these small tasks to access a progress, to start a scene or to advise the prince, no doubt an edgy tool. I am an edgy tool, differential, very respectful, glad to be of use. I am very happy if I am of any use to the prince, politic, cautious, and meticulous, means at times I might be of some politically minded. I might be very cautious, very careful, very meticulous. I would have been full of high sentence but a bit obtuse. I would be full of high sentences, means he is talking about that character of Polonius, that I will be full of high sentences, though a bit obtuse, a bit stupid, a bit dim-witted, At times indeed almost ridiculous, and at times I might be even ridiculous. Almost at times I am the fool. Means he says that I might be the stupid, I might be the fool. Means he's just putting these words in his own defense, that I might be stupid, I might be fool, but I am not irresolute. I am not a cowardice like Prince Hamlet. So these words he is saying in his own defense, that I am not resolute. I might appear stupid like Polonius, but I am not irresolute. I am very firm in my resolutions. But still, I not saying these words, that is not my fault. There are reasons which I have already given to you. So this is it for the day. Thank you.